Hey y'all, today we're going to try to sub on some meant for sublimation Walmart 25-ounce glass frosted bamboo lid tumblers if we can find them. So stick around. Hey everybody and welcome. My name's Roy and today we're going to sub on the elusive Walmart 25-ounce frosted glass bamboo lid unicorn tumblers if we can find them. Well, I found them, but it's my understanding that these things have been very difficult. Some people have been able to sachet right into their local Walmart. Did I just say sachet? Some people have been able to walk into their local Walmart and just grab up what they wanted and go. Others like me had to really look around to find them, and then some people haven't been able to find them. They're a seasonal item, and it's my understanding that at Walmart, seasonal items are often not put on their website, so it's difficult to find them and you have to go to Walmarts. And a lot of Walmarts don't carry them. I believe that certain distribution centers have them. And the example is I live in Central Florida, kind of between Tampa and Orlando, and I couldn't find them anywhere where I was. And I believe that we're out of the Tampa distribution center. However, I had to go past Orlando to Altamont Springs a few weeks ago and went to a couple of Walmarts. Actually, I only went to one. I was planning on going to a couple, and the first one I went to, they had them. So if you can find them, great, get them. They look great. We'll talk a little bit about their durability and all that a little bit later on. But what we want to do is, well, let me show you what I'm talking about. So here's what we're talking about. These are the ones that I was looking for the most, and I did get a few of those. And then I've subbed on, I haven't subbed on this yet, but I've subbed on the rest of these. So they are 25-ounce glass frosted tumblers from Walmart. And they're really cute. They're not made for sublimation, but somebody tried them and they've worked quite well. On a side note, when you get them, sometimes this little piece of plastic that fits inside here comes out. Make sure that you take it off before you put it in an oven or a press. And I am going to sub a few of these in the tumbler press and a few of them in the oven for those that don't have a press. They look really nice. I don't know if you can tell with the lighting, but the frosted coating is not 100%, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not 100% even. It's a little bit off, but they're nice. These cost $5.98 each, which is a little bit much if you're used to getting tumblers from Alibaba, but is probably pretty darn cheap if you're used to getting them here in the States. And the cool thing is you can go to your Walmart if they have them and get 1, 2, 3, 8, however many you want that they have. Anyway, what we want to do is we want to go into the studio and we're going to measure these so we can create a template to make some designs or drop in some designs. So let's go measure them. So we need to get a measurement on this. I've talked about this before and I will talk about it again. This is the coolest thing since sliced bread. It's a sticky tape that's got a ruler on it. This got tape on the back, and it just repeats the 12-inch ruler. So when the sticky starts going away, you can just cut it off and start again. It is fantastic. So I'm going to put this on here. I've used this so much the sticky's about gone. This is 9 1/4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/16. So I'm going to say 9 3/8. It's 9 1/4. So I'm going to say 9 1/4. 9 1/4 by the height, but this starts to curve. You can see it starts the top curve a little early and the bottom curve closer to that of a tumbler, but still probably sooner than one. So I'm going to start this because I don't think that I'm going to go all the way up anyway. I'm going to start this right probably about there. So it might be getting just a bit of the curve, but I don't think so. So would 7 inches be good if I choke this up a hair? Yeah, I think 7 inches is that's starting to curve. So 7 inches would be the max that I would go, and I'd probably try to stick with 6.5 as my height. And then I need to also remember that a design is only going to look good if I have to read it from about here to here. So I want the design itself, if it's a one-sided, well, even if it's not one-sided, to be no more than about probably 4. So we'll go with that. Well, there we go. Okay, now that we've measured these out, let's go to the computer and create a template and then drop some images into said template, print them out. Well, I'm getting carried away. Let's start with the computer. The first thing we're going to do is create a new file, and that is going to be 8.5 by 11, 300 will be our resolution. And then I'm going to create a rectangle, and it's going to be a fixed size. And we know by measuring, we're going to make that size 9.25 inches wide. And then I've settled on 6.5, actually 6, let's do 6.75 inches tall. So I'll click anywhere. That is then my the space that I need to create any design for these 25-ounce glass tumblers. What I want to do now is basically invert that. So to do that, I'll create a new layer, and then I'll make that layer solid black. And I'll temporarily hide it, and then I forgot to simplify this layer, so I have to simplify it real quick. Then I will get the magic wand tool, highlight it, then go to that solid black layer, hit delete, and boom, it will take out all of that inside. I don't need that original rectangle anymore. That is my template. So anything I put behind there, I just have to make sure it fits within that square, and I'll be all set. So now all I have to do is bring in a design. Here is a design I created. This is actually available on the design web page on the website. I'll leave a link in the description if you're interested in this or any of the other ones that I created for these 25-ounce tumblers. Anyway, I've added some lines to make sure I cut straight when I'm printing them out. So let's print one out and put it on the glass tumbler. So here is one of the designs. I'm going to trim this, and I add these lines so I can make sure that my image is straight. And then I'll cut just on the inside of those lines. So I use 11 by 17 paper and cut it in half, and because of that, sometimes it doesn't feed itself through the printer accurately. So if I do this, then I can make sure that the design is straight, which helps me if both edges, if both of these sides are the same, then it can keep me from putting the image on crooked, because I'm really good at putting the image on crooked. And another cut, of course. That's our design, and then we have to go with the width. So I believe this was 9.25. So what I'll do is trim a little bit off of this side, so it doesn't really matter, but. And then we'll come here and do the 9.25, and I'll do a little bit more than that. See how off this is? The top, bottom, and this side are accurate. You notice how that's spot on there and that's spot on, but look how much this is off. That's from me using paper that's cut in half. Now it's 9.25, but I'm gonna go 1/8 of an inch more for overlap. Doesn't really matter that much on the overlap because it's there's no design back there, but that's what we are looking at. So let's put it on the glass can. I am curious on how these hold up. So I'm going to take this, and I know that this is lined up pretty good, so my design, I want to be about like that, looking pretty good. Maybe up a little bit about like that. So let's shoot for that. So let me try to get this straight. So that looks pretty straight right there. I will get piece of tape. And I'm taping this. This one will be for the tumbler press. And I always pull this tight like that. And I'm going to tape my image just like I do a regular tumbler. Now this design is only on one side, but you know, the heat transfers to this glass. So even though it's on one side, I'm going to do a rotation. And I'm going to put this on the bottom, and I'm going to let this run through for two reasons. One, I want to see where the bottom is when I rotate it, and two, I want to see what it does on this frost. So we'll do one. I'll do one around the top, and I'm going to, I'll show you, I'm going to put it on here, but it's not on here very much, but I'm going to pull it pretty tight. I'm not going to put a second I'm not going to put a second piece of tape on it. With tumblers I do a second piece. With this one, I don't think it's necessary. Oh, again, just a little bit of, that's a little bit more overhang than I would like to have had, but that's fine. That's fine. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to leave it like that, and we're going to press it and see what happens. All right, let's put this thing in and see what happens. I'm going to rotate it like I would my normal tumbler. All right, we'll do 50 seconds, turn it 180 degrees, do another 50 seconds, then turn it 90 degrees, we do 25 seconds, and then another final 180 degrees for 25 seconds. Now I'm not letting it get back up to temperature. I'm just letting it go. We'll turn it 180 degrees. So because it took almost 80 seconds to get back to 365, I'll probably do the final two times at 30 seconds instead of 20 or 25. So now I'll rotate it 90 degrees. So we'll let the countdown, we'll let the timer get to 20 and rotate it 180 degrees. Let me rotate it 180 degrees. And I'm going to plan on taking it out, but I want to look and make sure that image went through. You know, I think it went through, but I am going to give it another 20 seconds just to be safe. And that's another 20 seconds. I'll take a look at it and see. You know, I think that's good. We're going to try it. Okay, let's peel this thing and see what we got. I'm going to start with getting this tape off the top. And then we'll do the bottom. And this is exactly how I do my tumbler. So this is where we'll start and then see what we got from here. All right. This is a really hot glass. Really hot. And I missed a little bit there. All right. Let me put my other glove back on. Normally I let this wait a few minutes, but, well, I'm impatient today. I'm very curious. First one. Wow. That's beautiful. Now there's a little bit of a spot right there and on the bottom, but that's just paper residue. Once it cools down, I'll be able to wipe that off. That looks really nice. I'm really happy with that. Okay, it's been about 3 or 4 minutes. This is still hot, but I can handle it. So we want to go back and take a look at those little spots. And yeah, sure enough, I don't know if you can see, but see that spot right there? just comes right off. So I have seen a lot of folks question, will it stay on there? Because this is technically not a sublimation tumbler, but it's looking really good. I think that was a spot that was already there. It's looking really good. I'm gonna use this one for a week and see what to see if it stands out. But that is a, put the top on it real quick. That's a nice looking tumbler right there. So we've done a couple of them in the tumbler press now. For those of you that don't have a tumbler press or hate your tumbler press, we're gonna go to the convection oven, put a couple of them in there, and then we'll do a side-by-side comparison to see if there's any difference at all. Okay, we are at about 375 degrees. I wrapped this the same way as I did the other one. I made sure to pull this edge, the tops and bottoms tight, and I didn't put too much tape overlapping it. So we're gonna put it in the convection oven for 8 minutes. And I'm not gonna rotate because it's convection and I shouldn't need to. Okay, the temperature has held steady at about 370. Yeah, about 370. And it's been 8 minutes, so we're gonna take it out and looks like it might be okay. So I'm gonna let it cool for a minute and we'll unwrap it. And while I'm at it, let's go ahead and drop another one in and see how it turns out. Okay, while the other one is baking, let's remove this and see how it turned out. This glass is crazy hot. Okay, so I'm gonna let it sit. I've taken all the tape off. We'll let it sit for a few minutes and cool down while we're waiting for more to bake. Okay, it's not been a few minutes, but this paper's wanting to come off, so we're gonna go ahead and let it. I'm gonna roll this off, and you know what? Hot looks really good. It looks nice, so I'm gonna let it cool down, and then we'll compare it to the one in the mug press, but they look pretty close. And we are holding true at about 375, 78 degrees. And here's the final one we're gonna do in the oven. Okay, here they are. So these are the ones that I did in the press, and these are the ones that I did in the oven. For the tumbler press, I pressed at 365 degrees. My seam started in the 9 o'clock position. I pressed for 50 seconds and rotated 180 degrees, putting the seam at the 3 o'clock position. I pressed for another 50 seconds. I rotated 90 degrees, putting the seam at the 6 o'clock position. I pressed for 30 seconds and then did a final rotation 180 degrees, putting the seam in the 12 o'clock position, and that was for 50 seconds. So it was a total of 180 seconds with 4 separate presses. And for the convection oven, the temperature was 375 degrees. I pressed for 8 minutes with no rotation since it's a convection oven. A couple of these, this one, and this one, I think. Yeah, these three are my designs. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to purchase the designs, and then a couple of these other ones I got from online. But they came out really great. These are the 3 from the oven. This is the only one that I did double-sided, and it came out great. A guy named King actually posted some designs in our Facebook group, and this was one of them, and I just loved it so much. So I asked him, so King, thanks for pointing me in the direction of these. I think we got them on design bundles. So anyway, fantastic. And again, King, thanks so much. On a side note, join the Facebook group. We've got some really great folks. It's not too big, so people don't get lost. You can sit back and just enjoy the show, or you can comment, you can ask questions, lots of questions, and I certainly don't have all the answers, but there's some really smart people that are great at sublimation that do have the answers. So definitely join it. I do have, I think, 3 questions and then a check to agree to the group rules. I ask that you answer those questions and you check it. There are enough bots out there that I have to decline anybody that doesn't do that. I need to make sure it's a real person. So it's worth 10 seconds to do that, to join the group. Great folks. Anyway, thanks, King. So let's go to, this was the first one that I did. I want to try to keep from getting them out of order. So this was the Tumbler press, and this is another one that I have on, or that I need to put on the website. I should say this. On your mark, get set. Anyway. So this was the convection oven, tumbler press. I can tell a little bit of a difference, but both of them look fantastic. And if I mix them up, I don't think I could tell. I have no problem doing either one of those. So if you prefer doing a convection oven, they turn out great in that. One thing I forgot to mention, I am gonna put the tumbler rubber bottoms on these before I sell them. And I'm gonna sell them for the same price that I sell the 20-ounce tumblers for. Oh, one other thing that I didn't mention. I did take this one around for about 2 weeks and used it pretty regularly. There are, quite honestly, I'm surprised there are no scuff marks. I figured these would be a little bit easier to scuff up because oftentimes frosted glass is. It's held up pretty well. The top, I don't know if you can see it or not, the top didn't hold up well when my puppy got hold of it and started chewing on it because it's bamboo. But other than that, if you keep your pets away from them, they should be okay. I have a feeling they'll scratch a little bit. In my care instructions, I did mention that frosted glass has a tendency to scratch easily, so be careful. Anyway, it worked out fine, and I do feel like I am the ringmaster of the shit show. Hopefully you can find these. Because they're seasonal, they're not gonna be around Walmart for very long, but I did wanna do a quick video on sublimating them. These were not made for sublimation. Somebody just decided to try them out. I believe that often a frosted glass will take sublimation. I don't know that, but I believe that to be the case sometimes. So experiment. If you see something out and about that's frosted, and take it home and try to sub on it, and then let us know if it works. I do have links in the description for the products that I use. Some of them are affiliate links, which means I get a little bit of money, a couple of pennies, if you use that link to make your purchase. All of them aren't affiliate links, some of them are. It won't cost you any more, and it certainly helps me out to keep finding Walmarts to buy these at. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Click that little notification bell so you'll know when new videos are coming out. Join the Facebook group, fantastic group of people. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Oh, that's my dog trying to get to me because she loves me. Care instructions, I did said, and I do think I am ringmaster of the shit show.